At 75, I've lived a long life filled with memories, some joyful, some painful. But if there's one decision I regret more than any other, it's moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the safest, kindest choice. My family promised me comfort, safety, and care, all the things I thought I needed. I trusted them. I wanted to believe this new chapter would be peaceful. But the reality, it hit me like a cold wind. Once I walked through those doors, I realized life there wasn't what I imagined. If you're watching this and thinking about nursing homes, for yourself or someone you love, please listen carefully. I want to share 6 important things I wish I'd known before making that decision. Part 2. 6 things I wish I'd known. The feeling of loss is overwhelming. Leaving your own home, the place filled with your memories, it's like losing a part of yourself. Suddenly, everything familiar is gone. The sounds, the smells, the little routines, they all disappear overnight. You lose control over your daily life. In a nursing home, your schedule isn't yours anymore. Meals, medication, activities, all dictated by the staff's clock, not your own. For someone who's lived independently for decades, this can feel like being trapped. Loneliness creeps in, even when people are around. You're surrounded by others, but true connection is rare. Some residents become friends, but many days feel empty and silent. The quality of care varies greatly. Not every nursing home is the same, but many struggle with understaffing and lack of attention. I often felt neglected, waiting for help or feeling like just another number. Your family might not visit as often as you hope. Promises of regular visits sometimes fall through. Life gets busy, and soon you realize you're more alone than expected. Leaving is not as simple as it sounds. Once you move in, it can be difficult, emotionally, physically, and financially, to move back out. The transition is overwhelming, and sometimes the nursing home becomes your permanent home. Part 3. Reflection on nursing homes. I'm not saying nursing homes are all bad. Some offer wonderful care and comfort. But I wish someone had told me these truths before I made the choice. If you're considering this path, I urge you to think carefully, ask questions, and explore all options. Because the place you call home matters more than we often realize. And once it's gone, the emptiness is hard to fill. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, you are not alone, and your home is your heart. Part 5. Regret number 1. Losing my independence. Regret number 1. Losing my independence. When I first arrived, I thought it was just about adjusting to a new place, a smaller room, unfamiliar faces. But the real shock came later, when I realized how much control I'd lost over my own life. At home, I was the boss of my day. I chose when to wake up, when to eat, and how to spend my hours. I could take a walk whenever I wanted, enjoy my favorite hobbies on my own time, and wear whatever made me feel good. But here, everything is set by someone else's schedule. Meals are served at fixed times. If you miss it, you wait until the next. Want to stretch your legs or get some fresh air? You need to ask for permission. Even something as simple as picking out your clothes can feel like a special privilege, rather than a daily right. It made me feel like a child again, dependent, powerless, and not in control. I wasn't just living in a new place, I was living under rules I hadn't chosen. Losing that independence, it's more than inconvenient. It's heartbreaking. Part 6. First week in the nursing home. I remember my very first week in the nursing home like it was yesterday, though the memory still feels heavy. I woke up in a bed that didn't feel like mine. No familiar sheets, no soft pillows I'd chosen myself, no books by my bedside that I could lose myself in for hours, no favorite chair where I used to sit and watch the sunset through my window. Just sterile white walls, the faint smell of antiseptic, and the distant echoes of other residents' routines. It was as if I'd been uprooted from the garden where I'd spent decades growing and blossoming, and transplanted into a place where I was just one of many, part of a system that didn't know me or care to know me. I learned to adapt, because I had no choice. But every day, I felt fragments of myself slipping away, the small joys, the personal touches, the memories that made me, me. If you're watching this and thinking about a nursing home for yourself or someone you love, I want you to ask yourself this deeply important question. Are you truly ready to surrender the small freedoms that make life feel like your life? The little things, your favorite chair, the way you arrange your belongings, the smell of your home, they matter more than we realize. Because when those pieces go, so does a part of your soul. Part 7. Regret. Number 2. Feeling forgotten. Regret. Number 2. Feeling forgotten. When I first moved into the nursing home, my family was very supportive. My daughter came to see me almost every week, and my grandchildren would visit on weekends, filling my days with warmth. I felt loved and cared for, at least at the beginning. But as the months passed, those visits became less frequent. Instead of someone coming to visit, I started getting phone calls, and even those calls grew shorter and farther between. Holidays, which used to be the brightest days of my year, became the hardest. I remember sitting in my room on Christmas Day, hoping someone would come by, but the day passed quietly and alone. Promises to come soon were often followed by cancellations or excuses. We're busy. Something came up. Maybe next time. It wasn't because they stopped loving me. No, it was something else. Life moves on, and sometimes the people we love simply get caught up in their own worlds. There's a painful truth to this. When you go nursing home at that moment, loneliness that comes with feeling forgotten is quiet, but deep. It's not just about missing company. It's about feeling disconnected from the people who once were closest to you. I found myself sitting in the common room, watching other residents receive visitors, smiling faces reunited. But for me, those moments became rare. Loneliness is a thief. It steals your joy, your hope, and sometimes your will to keep going. It crept in slowly, like a shadow stretching across my heart. I started to question if I mattered, if anyone truly remembered me, or if I was just waiting for time to pass. I want to warn those watching. Don't underestimate how loneliness can affect someone in a nursing home. It's not just a feeling. It can impact your health, your mood, and your sense of self. It's one of the hardest parts of this life journey. If you're considering a nursing home for yourself or a loved one, think about the connections that will be lost or changed. Ways to stay close. Part 8. Loss of purpose. One of the most unexpected regrets I've faced after moving into a nursing home is the loss of purpose. It crept up on me, not all at once, but many times. Before the nursing home, my days it was very beautiful and of love, even in small ways. I had a morning routine. I'd wake up, make myself a cup of tea, open the curtains, water the plants in my window box, and go for a little walk down the street. I'd sweep the porch, organize old photos, write in my journal, and make lunch just the way I liked it. They were small things, but they were mine. They gave my days rhythm. When I moved into the nursing home, that rhythm disappeared. I didn't have to make my own tea, it was brought to me. No more sweeping, no more tending to plants, no more responsibilities. At first I thought, this is rest. This is peace. And for a while it was, but rest without purpose becomes emptiness. I remember meeting George, a retired carpenter who used to build beautiful furniture with his bare hands. His fingers, though aged, still looked strong. But here, he had nothing to build, nothing to create. One morning, I saw him staring at a blank wall for nearly an hour. When I asked if he was okay, he simply said, "I don't know what to do with myself anymore. I feel useless." That word hit me like a brick. Useless. Because I was beginning to feel the same. When there's nothing you're needed for, no task, no reason to get out of bed, days blur into one another. Purpose is more powerful than we realize. It's not just for the young or for those still working. Purpose is for everyone. It gives the elderly a reason to keep going, to smile, to hope. When we lose that, when everything is done for us instead of with us, it becomes easy to slip into passivity. and then depression follows close behind. But those are distractions, not purpose. Purpose is when you feel you matter, when something you do makes a difference no matter how small. Helping a neighbor, folding laundry, sending a handwritten letter, sharing a story that inspires someone else. But when every need is met by staff, there's no need for you to be needed. And when you don't feel needed, you slowly stop needing yourself. So if you're watching this, especially if you're younger or have parents considering a nursing home, ask yourself, what will keep them going? What will give their days meaning? Because we don't just need food and safety. We need purpose. It's the quiet fire that keeps our spirit alive. Loss of movement. In this place designed to care for us, we were slowly losing ourselves. Not because of neglect, but because of routine. A routine that encouraged stillness more than strength, rest more than resilience. You see, movement is more than just exercise, it's a declaration of independence. It says, I am still here, I can still do. When you stop moving, your muscles weaken, yes, but so does your confidence, your spark, your will to push forward. And what's more heartbreaking, it becomes a cycle. The weaker you get, the more you need help. And the more help you receive, the less you're expected to do. Until one day, you're sitting in a chair for hours, staring at a wall, wondering where your body went. So if you're watching this, young or old, remember this truth. Ease is not always a blessing. Sometimes the very things that make us comfortable are the ones that take away our strength. And once your body starts slipping, your mind often follows. The body and soul, they're more connected than most people realize. If I could go back, I'd tell myself, don't stop moving. Even if it's just around the room, even if no one is watching, even if you're tired, because movement is life. Stillness in excess is slow surrender. Part 10, Loss of Privacy. Before I moved into the nursing home, I never gave much thought to the idea of privacy. It was something I had always taken for granted, like the comfort of slipping into your favorite pajamas at night or closing the bathroom door without thinking twice. But here, privacy became a luxury, and with it I slowly watched my dignity fade. At home, I had space. I could close the door, turn off the noise, sit with my thoughts. I could choose to cry in silence or laugh out loud. But inside these walls, there is no true solitude. Every hour is shared. Every moment feels observed. Bathing became the hardest. I used to take pride in being well-groomed, clean. I would keep. Now I had to wait until they had time. And if they were too busy, you waited. Hygiene became dependent on a schedule that wasn't mine. And meals? You're not asked what you feel like eating. You're told what's being served. Sometimes you like it. Sometimes you don't. But you eat it anyway. Because you're hungry, and complaining doesn't change anything. I used to enjoy cooking, choosing fresh vegetables, tasting spices. That joy, gone. Even bedtime lost its meaning. Lights out at a certain time. The television must be quiet. Roommates snore. Strangers wander in the hallway muttering to themselves. Rest isn't restful when it isn't your choice. But what hurt the most was sharing a room. You don't choose your roommate. Sometimes you're lucky. Most times you're not. I had a roommate named Frank. He shouted in his sleep, refused to use headphones, and had no filter when talking about bodily functions. I tried to be patient, I really did. But one night I just sat on the edge of my bed and whispered, I miss my walls. I miss my door. I miss being alone. And I realized then, I didn't feel like me anymore. I felt like a patient, like a number in a system designed for convenience, not comfort, like a body, not a soul. It's in the little things, the right to say no, the choice to be alone, the ability to care for yourself. When those are taken away, it's not just your routine that suffers, it's your identity. And once that starts to fade, everything else does too. So if you're listening to this and thinking about putting your loved one into a home, or even considering it for yourself, pause. Think not just about care, but about respect. not just about comfort, but about dignity. Because when you strip someone of privacy, you're not just managing their time, you're slowly erasing their sense of self. And that is one of the deepest regrets I carry. Part 11. The illusion of temporary. When I first walked into the nursing home, I told myself it was temporary. Just a few months. Enough time to recover from a small fall I had, to get back on my feet. I even smiled for my family, told them it was just a new chapter. I packed only 2 bags, left my house the way it was, my books on the shelf, my favorite teacup by the window, my garden still blooming. I didn't say goodbye, because I never thought I wouldn't return. But time is tricky. The days blur. 1 week becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. Before you know it, seasons pass, and suddenly, so has a piece of your life. At first, I kept telling the staff, I'm going home soon. They'd smile politely the way people do when they don't believe you but don't want to be rude. I called my daughter often, asked about the house. She always answered with hesitation. It's still there, Dad, don't worry. But I could hear the changes in her voice, the uncertainty, the way her tone shifted when I asked if she had been by to water the plants or check the mail. Eventually, I stopped asking. One day I found out the spare bedroom had been turned into an office. My grandson had moved into the house for college. My recliner was in storage. They sold my car. Bit by bit, my life was packed away, without me even realizing it. Part 12. Final Thoughts plus CTA. Now that I sit here looking back on everything, I want to be clear about one thing. I don't regret growing old. Aging is a privilege, a gift denied to many. I've lived through wars, watched my children grow, held my grandkids in my arms, and felt the warmth of love and the sting of heartbreak. I've seen the world change before my eyes. But what I do regret is believing that a nursing home was the only option left for me. I regret thinking that getting older meant giving up my space, my freedom, my voice. I regret not asking more questions, not pushing back, not exploring other paths before stepping into a system that slowly, quietly stripped away pieces of who I am. And to be honest, I don't blame my family. They meant well. They saw a safe place, a clean room, helpful nurses. They thought I'd be happier. But safety and happiness aren't always the same, because no one told us that beyond the medicine, meals, and scheduled activities, there would be silence. The kind that creeps in during the nights when you stare at the ceiling and wonder, how did I get here? If you're watching this, whether you're a senior yourself, or a son, a daughter, a caregiver, I ask you this. Look beyond convenience. Look beyond what's easy. And most of all, look into the eyes of the person you love and ask them what they want. Because once someone enters a nursing home, they may not have the strength, the energy, or even the voice to say they regret it, but they feel it, in the quiet, in the routines, in the absence of the life they once lived. Please, don't wait until you're 82 to realize that comfort isn't the same as living. Living is messy, it's unpredictable, it's full of choices, even the hard ones, but it's also yours. Don't give that up too soon.